Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Egypt, to the Giza Plateaus. You can see Khafre and the Sphinx there behind me, and Menkaure over in the distance, the smallest pyramid. And it's sunset here in Giza, our favorite time of the day when everyone leaves the plateau and we get to wallow in the magic. And it's absolutely beautiful. So thank you all who are able to join us in person today on the European time zones. And thank you for all who will be joining us along the way or from the replay. There is so much has unfolded in the last, I could say 2 weeks, but really 2 months. And we've just asked which specific pieces wishes to be shared with you here today. And that's what we're here to do, and hope that you may receive the keys and the codes that your system may be waiting for today. So let us begin by going through this holographic alignment process to bring coherence to our systems so that what needs to be shared can easily be transferred. Aligning physical, mental, and emotional bodies, reminding you if you need to stand up, sound, breathe, and move through this process. If you're just landing into the space, then you're welcome to do so. Listen to your body. Aligning physical, mental, and emotional with all-pervading soul or higher self and monadic galactic self. Activating the earth star 1 foot or half a meter beneath the feet and connecting through the divergent meridians of the planetary body. And those primordial elemental energies of creation and their purity and infinite potential, as we invite them up through our unique pillars to cleanse, clear, and purify, regenerate, rejuvenate, and recalibrate. All the way up to the soul star, which is 1 foot or half a meter above the head, and inviting our celestial nature to descend, to mix and mingle with our terrestrial nature, which is what enables us to become whole, to walk in coherence and connection with our human nature and our divine nature. Surrendering through the core of Source and the heart of Gaia, where the new true earth architecture emerges. And softening and surrendering into that space and allowing ourselves to be held by this space. We are supported, where we're loved unconditionally. Where we may arrive fully into our bodies and into this present moment. Surrendering to the core of Source in our own heart spaces. And expanding our capacity to love, which is an unavoidable part of our embodiment and evolution. How much can we love? How unconditionally can we love? And expand the chambers of the heart as we open to become love. Surrendering through the core of Source, in the heart of the sun, and in the heart of the great central sun. In the heart of the moon, and in the heart of Theia, aspects of which are embedded in the African continent, where we're gathering from today, and have been working with deeply throughout this journey. I'm surrendering through the core of Source in the galactic center, wherever that exists in your system. It may be through the navel or dantian, it could be through the pineal, our gateway to God, the all-seeing, the all-knowing, and that part of ourselves that resides outside of time, our ancient future self. And feeling into what it means to land our ancient future self into this body, into this being, into this here and now. what it means to walk as a divine human on our earth, and how that embodiment is expressed through our everyday life. Inhaling, exhaling with sound as we strengthen and fortify our own pillar and unique place on the planet. Inhaling, exhaling with sounds as we honor our own bodies, our place on the planet, and all guardians in the seen and unseen realms. And inhaling, exhaling with sound as we connect around and through the planetary body into the field of unified consciousness and unity and in love. As we welcome everybody fully into their body and fully into the space, I'd like to hand you over to Casey.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to continue this expanded field. Welcoming into the circle today the light teams, the star teams that are very part of the Earth mission that is going on in various places. Understanding that we are part of a bigger group, the light weaving group, that wherever we stand, we are creating giant pillars of light, anchoring pillars, shifting the energy around us and allowing the vibrational field to change. At this time, we would like to bring into your awareness the fact that the celestial gateways are now reopening. Allowing that to land into your field, and all those that are carrying parts and pieces of these aspects are being reawakened at this time. Understanding that with the gateways opening, there is a reconciliation of the records that is happening as well. The information that you have been seeking and wanting to retrieve is now available through the portals of the gateways. All aspects of information, Earth records, are being restored. Available for archiving in their proper places, without distortion. Beyond the hologram that they once existed, to the actual record points, back to their origin points. This allows for the star lineage, the soul lineage, to be able to be brought back with all the parts and pieces that have been missing. What's known as soul retrieval. Is actually our galactic aspects coming back to us. Welcoming into the field the bright ones, the shiny ones. Those star beings that are coming forward to support the ascension plan of Gaia. The ones who are now choosing to jump in, who have been waiting on the sidelines. And understanding this is part of the biggest plan of all. We are at a time when the Earth Codex is changing. As the records are retrieved, archived, brought back into the proper placement, we can go forward. The codex can shift. We are not stuck on repeat any longer. This also ties into the karmic cycles of the human. It is time that the game is changing. And we are part of the great unfoldment. There's much excitement in the field as the shifts continue. Earth changes, energy changes, solar influx. It is all part of the forward trajectory for Gaia and for the divine human. We will step back into the field at this time, allowing more to unfold through the circle. When you are ready, you're going to anchor into your human selves a little bit more, allowing this expanded energy to be in your field. Breathing deeply into your human selves, allowing some gentle movement to help anchor you into your place in your space. Feeling your feet connected to the ground, connected to Gaia. Wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers, and when you are ready, opening your eyes and choosing to come all the way in at this time.
Thank you so much, Casey. I love the clarity of your channel. We just gathered for a few minutes before opening the doors this evening. And out of all that's unfolded, simply in our field in the past 2 weeks, we asked what was to be shared here today, and there were 4 pieces. And without going into details and descriptions, your beautiful summary that came through your channel then is perfect match for what wishes to unfold here. So thank you so much. And a big thank you to the ground crew, those that are here, that are walking and weaving together, and all of those around the planet who have been doing their piece, walking their piece of the puzzle during this really powerful eclipse and equinox cycle through this month of September, because it's been very, very intense. And so much has unfolded here every single day. The first piece that wishes to be shared was after our visit to the Isis temple, which the Isis temple got relocated from Philae Islands when the Aswan Dam was built because of the water levels rising. And we walked the temple and then took the boat over to the old temple gates for a swim. And that was very significant part of the process. But then before leaving the lake, we had a calling to go to a big doorway, which I'd never been before, but I was aware was in the area and it was calling for our attention. So we took a 20-minute boat ride across the lake to this enormous stone doorway. And what was to unopen there was actually a Lyran gateway, a Lyran stargate. And this was very significant for this next wave of incoming children that wishing to come through, particularly from Lyra. And this is their gateway. So there was a big unpacking of opening that gateway for their arrival and preparation of landing above the Aswan Dam there. And the next piece that wished to be shared was what unfolded in our evening visit to Luxor Temple. Luxor Temple is a very old temple in the heart of Luxor, also known as the Temple of Man, the one that holds the divine template of man, of human. And we had a big weaving there that we shared in the last Guardians call with the incoming children and reinstating the royal galactic bloodlines. But when we walked it, when we walked it with the group, some new pieces came through to add to that. And we're going to ask Chanel to share that, what unfolded there at Luxor Temple with everyone.
Thank you, Leanne. Hi, everybody. It's nice to meet you. Yeah, so as Leanne mentioned, Luxor was a book for us. What we ended up collecting from this temple was the schematic of something that is super sacred and beautiful, that felt like it was a stolen potential from humans. And what we picked was the schematics of a new understanding of how we relate to one another through understanding of sex. And the idea that up until this point, we've had a very one-dimensional understanding and relationship with our sexual nature and with the idea of sex between us as humans. And it kind of feels like up until this point, we've had a whole piano that we could play this beautiful symphony on, but we've been conditioned to believe that we have only one key to play. Up until this point, we've been banging one key, thinking that we're playing this beautiful symphony. And in fact, we've been hitting one key on a piano that has an infinite amount of numbers of keys. And so what we picked up were the schematics that will allow us to re-anchor the sacredness of sex and what sex is supposed to mean for us, not only as humans, but also as energetic beings, and to really reinstate this way of relating to one another when it comes to sex. And it's not the only physical way that we currently understand it. It is a lot more to do with the energetic side of us and how we relate to that within ourselves and also with other beings. And it feels really beautiful and sacred and fluid, and it feels really, really special as we start to reclaim our sexual nature and our sexual power, that we've actually been able to anchor in the code for this as a potential in this reality, that we can start to elevate and expand our understanding of sex and state the sacredness that it once held that was still stolen from us. And so that is what unfolded at Luxor, and it's a very important piece of the puzzle that we've been building, which is very much related to divine union. And as the potential for this is reinstated into the field, this sexual feels like it is very, very closely connected to this, so that we not only expand our understanding of relating to one another when it comes to relationships, but also being able to interact with one another in this expanded sacred understanding of sex on this plane. So yeah, it was super, super special, and I'm very excited to see how it unfolds.
Thank you for that beautiful transmission, Chanel. And the next big piece that unfolded actually was in the Assyrian, or beside the Assyrian, which is out behind the Abydos temple. Many know the Abydos temple and the ancient megaliths behind there, the Assyrian. And we are going to ask Elia to share that piece with us. Just a moment. Well, let's unmute you, Elia.
Okay,
Gotcha.
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so Osirian was another kind of, I'll say, another part of like Luxor work, because we had like time capsule left really long time ago, like with all the codes ready to be unpacked in this specific time. And the Osirian is really, really ancient place, like megalithic place, but with a lot of like layer, even older than the stones which are there. And the important piece is that like what is actually, like for me, it's really important that everything we've been doing here was connected with like the original seeding and original codes and original templates which were on the planet. So we're retrieving different parts of this original coding on original potential for humanity in different temples, like different aspects of it. And in Osirian, what was waiting kind of encapsulated for this time to kind of receive it back was our full potential as humans, our 48 strand DNA, angelic human DNA potential. So currently we just use tiny % of it. And what was there is just like our full capacity and full potential as human beings. And it felt like it's kind of it was the original idea or original concept or original creation of what humans can be and are supposed to be. And it was really reduced to like a tiny percentage of it. We're laughing with Chanel that like as humans, we are like just a nail on the toe, and all the rest is kind of like unexplored, like the vastness of who we are and just like all the potential of who we are. And also like with understanding of sexuality, also just understanding of who we are, who we can be, what we can do, what we can create. So just like with this human angelic 48 DNA potential and template, like what is coming back is just ability to grow to everything we can be here. And from everything we can be here to create like a completely different reality, which a lot of us are waiting for. So it was really special. And just to add kind of like, because it felt very sacred, it felt like huge, like it was waiting for eons to come back to the planet, the planetary field to have access to this. But kind of funny thing is that like the Osirian is very ancient old temple, but just above the Osirian, there is a pathway in the village through which like a local people are just going with their shopping, just like having conversations. So it's kind of just like a pavement for locals, which even, I don't know if they're understanding the importance of the place. So while we were retrieving those codes and this like full potential for humanity, there were locals just passing by with their shoppings, with their mangoes and just like having normal conversations. So it was really like, really lovely integration, actually. It didn't feel like a contradiction. It felt like the integration. Yeah, so, and what is being like asked today is to kind of like coming back to the, while we are listening about all those codes and templates and original potentials, kind of like having this question in the back of our minds, just, okay, like how do we apply it? Like, what does it mean on a practical level? Because these are really, really big words, just like angelic human 48 DNA strand potential, or just like sacred sexuality. The question is like, how will we apply it? How it can change our reality? Because that's the point of retrieving all of those potentials. So, yeah. So that was Osirian.
Thank you, Elia. That was lovely. And when we were talking about the different strands of DNA, to put it into perspective, when we're looking about our embodiment and evolution, we often we talk about the 12 strands of DNA. When our 12 strands of DNA come online, that's the level of soul embodiment, our physical 12 strands of DNA. The rest that become more the etheric strands of DNA, the next 6 are our galactic embodiment. So moving from Homo sapien into Homo luminous soul embodiment, 12 strands of DNA. Another 6 strands come online when we come into our galactic embodiment, Homo galacticus. The next 6 come online into 24 when we're in our Homo universalis embodiment. And what's beyond there is what the new children are arriving with now. They're the ones that are arriving in. You can forget about chakra systems and earth stars and soul stars. These ones arriving in fluid plasma, and they're the ones that are coming in with 24 and beyond. So it's pretty exciting to be able to see it with what they're bringing in, and to see where it's activating within the planetary system and becoming available to all of us in the process. So it basically expands the playing field of what our journey of embodiment and evolution is about, what our earth walk is about here on the planet right now. So thank you so much, Elia. And the fourth big piece that wanted to be shared with everyone unfolded after a rather chaotic, dramatic course of events, getting to our private visit at the Sphinx, which Chanel is here to share with us.
Thank you, Leanne. Yeah, as Leanne mentioned, it was quite an experience for us to get to the Sphinx. There was an incredible amount of interference that was thrown at us, and it was, pretty spectacular for us to witness how obvious the ploys were to keep us from reaching the Sphinx. And I think for all of us, we were quite mind blown at how obvious it was. And usually, when there's more time and things can be more subtle, we don't notice it. And so that a key takeaway for us that day was to see how much is at play and how much is at stake. And so when we did eventually reach, it was really, really incredible for all of us. And as we walked around the Sphinx, there was one specific location that we got, and I was there with Elia, and our whole bodies just lit up. Every hair in our body was standing up, and we knew that we were standing over the frequency chamber that is located beneath the Sphinx. And as we stood there, these codes that we had collected on our journey, and specifically the ancient future angelic human potential, the schematics of us having this 48 strand DNA, was deposited through the frequency chamber and into the halls of Amenti. And we felt like this potential for the expression of humans and the new souls that are entering Gaia can fully anchor into their full expressions. The code that we deposited, the codes of the original timeline were unlocked, the divine potential of humans was updated, and it was such an emotional, incredible, surreal experience for us to stand there and witness the game changing, and how we were able to embed the code that changes everything and changes the potential for the reality that we get to experience, the future that we get to create for ourselves and for the generation. And it was why we were here. Everything was leading up to this point. It felt like this sigh of relief that we had finally been able to do it, and we've been trying to do this for so long, and we finally got it right. And it changes everything. And yeah, the codes for the original timeline are unlocked, and the potential is there, and these new souls that are incarnating have the ability to fully express in the forms that they are arriving in. And that is so sacred and special. And for all of us, it's been such an incredible journey to be part of. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chanel. And maybe Elia can share the few words that came through literally right on completion of that day. They were very specific, the timeline.
Okay. Just like I wanted to share one more thing, because just like we were able to do this only because like we were a team, and each one of us holds different keys for this work, and we are like working together as a team for 2 weeks in order to be able to do this. So for me, it was like a really experiencing strength of how we are strong together when everyone is really taking responsibility for their own gifts and like really standing up and just like claiming who they are, why they are here, what they came here for. Because this is like what we've been doing here, and everyone was collecting their own pieces on this journey. And when we arrived to Sphinx, everyone knew what to do. Even we were totally shattered emotionally after like trying to get there. And I was also aware that we were just like one of the teams working for this, because there are many groups right now in Egypt, like weaving with us and all over the planet, but especially in Egypt. A lot is happening right now. A lot of people are collected in this time and space, just like feeling the power of like something which is not orchestrated like from the mind, which is just coming from everybody, just like showing up where they need to be, when they need to be, and just like being who they are. And the power of it and what it can create. It just, for me, it was really like understanding that this is like how we create new earth. That there is no plan like in the book. The plan is in us. And it was just like seeing this was really, really amazing, and feeling like weaving with all the other ones which were kind of claiming their space, their role, their sharing. And what came, like the very specific words which came when we finally managed to open the gate to Sphinx, which we were really kind of like fighting for. It was just like being in Matrix and just like overcoming obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. It was like a sci-fi movie. Like maybe one day, like we will make a movie out of it, because it was really like unreal. And like the word which came is that like access to original timeline has been granted. Like the original first timeline has been granted, and it was the moment when we were allowed, like literally the gate opened and we were able to enter Sphinx. But it was like way more than that. Like really we can access right now original timeline for the planet, which feels huge, which feels really like, it does not mean that it will happen immediately, but we have access to it. We have access to all those codes. So right now we can create from totally different range of potential. Like you were always saying, Leon, that we access kind of like infinite potential from those like, you know, really restricted versions or looping versions. Just like we have like infinite potential right now to choose from, which is like a total game changer. So yeah.
And the dismantling and the dissolving of the timelines that are being looping on the planet
Yeah.
were literally just dismantled by the new codes coming in and online and returning to before Zep Tepi first time.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, it's been big. And on that note, we'd love to hear if there's any more expansion you have, Casey, or if there's any more questions or contributions to the field of what's been unfolding in the bigger scheme of things during this really powerful turning over of time, this personal and planetary reset, like none other. That was due because it was time.
This is a small thing, Leanne, but it's not, you guys didn't, there might have been a slight confusion when Chanel was talking. You guys didn't open up the gateways for new stuff to come forward. What you're doing, we talked about this, but you guys were restoring those original codes, especially for sacred sexuality. It's something that was a potential in those original timelines, and something that some of us ancient ones remember and have carried those codes through. But now it's accessible for the larger group, right? And that is only achievable by having those strands, those galactic aspects, those universal aspects to come online. It needed all of that to go forward. It was the momentum of the combination of everything to unlock the potential again, and something we're stepping back into.
Thank you. Yeah, full body koyopa with that. Thank you.
Talia has codes to share, but Talia, they want you to speak it. They want to hear your resonance through words first. There's a heart share. You have something there. You have like a piece that's like lingering in the field. I can feel it.
It's okay. You can just sit with it and let it when it come when it's true. It's there because you're beginning to.
Talia, it's a retrieval piece you had in one of the temples. There's something that got returned to you on your journey. And I feels like it's from the Isis temple.
Are you able to share any more about that, Casey?
You got one of your record pieces back. Alaya had an experience where some of her royal Lyran codes tapped back in just before her trip. This is kind of similar to you. You had a star aspect that hopped back in for you to be able to access now. It's connected to the Lyran gateway, or the celestial gateways opening up, not specifically Lyran, but you have access now to retrieve a star aspect of yourself that she's like walking with you. She's waiting for you to just grab her.
Thank you, Casey and Talia. Anything else from anyone else? Well, it's been a big couple of weeks in between eclipses. And it's been really big for Africa. And there's some more that's been unfolding for the African continent that's still in process that we will share in a couple of weeks' time. It's not yet fully landed yet, but it seems it will over the days to come. But it's quite interesting because, I don't know, probably a year and a half ago or two, I'd have 3 journeys in Africa this year. And the one in South Africa dropped away, the one in Southern Central East Africa dropped away. And this is the only one that remained. And when I say it dropped away, it meant that somebody else stepped in and was doing that work that needed to be done. But this is been a big year for the dark continent to come back online, to be restored. And it's really exciting. Africa has a lot of our ancient roots and a lot of our ancient memory. And it's time for it to be restored and to surface again. So big gratitude for you down there in the Cape, down in South Soretta, and for many others that are down there. And it's quite lovely to have you and Chanel on this call together. And it was feeling very important too that particularly the South African community begins to come together with with what's unfolding, because it's too much for one person. That's wanting to come.
So it feels like I need to speak. I'm curious about the schematics, because since our last gathering, I was in that, I showed you the portal that I was in, and I closed it up there. And when I got back home here, I opened it again. So if I look out in front of me, I've got direct view over this whole oceanic body, together with Table Mountain. And if you talk about the schematics, I've been seeing a lot of universal lines and galactic lines moving through our solar system, through the different planetary bodies, and anchoring into what seems to be a coral essence in the heart of Gaia, and been holding up that template for the royal code to be grounded in a new way and expressed gradually, because it still needs to filter through the continent. It only started to come up. And so when I hear the word, it's now the third time I'm saying that, so there's something very significant. If I hear schematics, it also feels like it's the cosmic body that has been starting to weave back into being and birthed through a line that's still being woven together from South Africa up to Egypt. And so the picture that I keep on seeing is the Milky Way is over that whole area from us up to Egypt. And that feels like it's becoming the Homo luminous, galacticus, and universal cosmic crown of the birthing of the new golden race. Yeah, that wants to move through now too. Just crowning that, yeah. And I don't know how relevant it is, but it's coming up in my field. When you were talking about sacred sexuality, I passed away 2 years ago, and just after that, my husband passed away. And between the two of us, we were weaving the cosmic body of Africa into being. And now that he's in his ascended state, we are also, it feels like having codes that's starting to weave through around sacred sexuality between physical and non-physical expressions, but not only in a solar system, but also galactically and universally. And so there's something that's still weaving through that I don't quite have language for, but I'm trying to give expression to that, because it feels like it needs to be expressed here for some reason. So while you were working in Egypt, I was working in South Africa. That's all I want to say. And it feels like the weaving has been happening simultaneously. It feels like I'm standing right through Gaia Sophia. I'm standing right through the planet and into the cosmos, and receiving all that's moving through from there, and anchoring that into, but it is not a crystalline core. It is something different. And that is the new essence that's being birthed to of the original codes of creation that I carry. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for your service and the role you play. Feeling like an anchor point in the bottom of the continent down there. Yeah.
I keep on seeing this So it's this womb that's held like this to restore the original womb of Gaia.
And I'm feeling how that connects through to Antarctica.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I find it very significant that the last gathering in this one is the only ones I can actually be present in. Otherwise, it's 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning, which I've tried once or twice, and then my signal doesn't want to connect. So there must be a reason for the balancing between that's also happening in the different zones. But I find it very beautiful that the last gathering and this gathering, I'm able to be here in daylight.
Thank you for mentioning that. It's interesting. It was in my awareness today. It feels like, even though we're hosting it from New Zealand, the Pacific, it feels like we have to alternate our new and full moon timelines.
Mm.
So maybe we'll look into that, because I'll be back in Aotearoa for the next one. But it does feel like we need to. It feels like it's going to be full moons on closer to European African timelines and new moons in Pacific Aotearoa timelines. Yeah, wow. Thank you. Yannick, did you have something you'd like to share?
Yes, I do. I was just feeling that I was receiving a lot of the information that felt really related to a lot of the work I've been doing and we've been doing here in Utah, in Salt Lake City. And actually, since the Lionsgate, I have been working a lot with the Lyrans, and there almost has been like this pressure time-wise to like a lot of work that needed to be done. That was preparing for a big activation we just did on the Eclipse. And I just got this insight about how, because I never really was clear so much why it was so, because there was a lot of pressure from the galactics about the time that a lot needed to happen. And so I just got this insight about how it felt very related to your journey, and as well that Stargate. And because it touched me so deeply as already the last time when I heard about the galactic children coming in. And this just seems so much the answer of, so many of my prayers that, I've been walking, and, just imagining that idea of that, children come into this earth with these blueprints fully intact, where they're not influenced anymore by all this, what we have gone through in the past, is just such a major stepping stone. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing your voice here in this circle. It's great to have more men journey with us. Wow. Any other questions or contributions to the field today for the offering of this Guardians of Gaia gathering? It's been very rich and very full.
Well, the thing which is coming, I think I already shared it, but it's keep on coming, that it's important to kind of like that with all this potential right now being back on the planet, all those templates and all those codes, it is really important to find a way to really receive it. However, like each one of us is our way to receive it and to recognize it, and however we are ready, or like wherever we are in our journey, but then to really find a way how to act from this new codes and new templates, because like the shift is happening through actions, like through changing thought forms, like through changing frequency. And this what came from our today's cosmic meeting. We will talk more probably in a next gathering, but it was like the message from the cosmic families, just really embody those codes, really find ways to act in a new way, create in a new way, whatever it means for each one of us. And in this way, like practical way of acting from the new codes and new templates. And it might require a certain level of creativity because we received something we haven't had for a long time on the planet. So it's also like about like aligning and just like, okay, what does it mean that I'm more than what I thought I am? What does it mean that I have all those codes? And how can I live differently on a practical level, on a daily basis? So not just to know that the codes have arrived, but that I can use them. And what does it mean on a practical level? That was like the practical message from today from our cosmic friends. So, and it keep on coming that it's really important because this is the way how the change will happen. We have pieces right now and we need to use them somehow. Just those pieces being here in halls of Amenti and just not being used will not create a change. Like we need to use them in order to create a change. So whatever is our piece, our role, our way of doing this. So
Saretta.
I just want to just share the importance of what you just shared. So 2 years ago, I stayed in Johannesburg, and I've been working with the depths of the psyche of humanity there to clear and unweave many things. And as I continue to receive all the guidance and codes that activated on the different strands of my DNA and moved. So one of the messages was to move down to the Cape where I am now. And why I'm saying that is my codings are grounded in this house that I've built. And that for me is a practical example of how that looks like. For example, this window, I've got half of it here. The other half is on my front door. And the full one is showing to Table Mountain. So it becomes this physical, symbolic representation of all the codes that has flowed through me, expressed through that which is in the house. Because that was the guidance I received, the importance of grounding all your messages. So this becomes, the house becomes the emanation out of the codes into the community. That's receiving everything that I'm receiving, decoded in their ways that they will receive it. And then also then emanating up into the continent and moving through to the Americas and in Australia this side. And that for me is just a physical example of how that can look like, the codes that we receive.
That's beautiful, thank you. And it makes sense why this walk had to complete before the sanctuaries can be built that the new children are requesting on the planet. And to see how you're actualizing that through that your own construction is fantastic. Because yes, as above, so below, as within, so without, that reconnects us to the web of life. Beautiful. And as I say, that beautiful song out of The Lion King comes to me. It's such incredible transmission in that song. I have to drop it below the replay of this. Is it Maquenya? Yeah. Wow. Oh, so much. And perhaps that's enough for today as the sun sets on Giza Plateau. Thank you all. Thank you for your gifts, your service, your commitment and dedication to this grand unfolding as Gaia goes galactic once more and restoring our full divine potential and what's possible on our planet. And on that note, I'd love to hand you over to Casey to bring closure. May we arrive fully intact on the earth plane with all of these gifts and codes that have been shared today, and let it reinform our reality and how that we're walking in the world today.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to take a little bit of time and dismantle our field, acknowledging the vastness of the universal field and how we are connected to all, but also recognizing how our field is way expanded when we are in connection to one another. That this is our divine design to be connected to our soul families, our soul groups, in order for all of the codes to drop in, because each one of us carries a different piece, a different coding, a different star resonance that is needed in the group field. That it takes all of us in order for the momentum to go forward. That we attune the field when we are in connection to one another. We shift and change what is possible when it is anchored in the field by more than one. It creates a new template, anchoring it and allowing it to expand to more groups, changing the footprint of Gaia, changing the records and changing the grid points, allowing the grid to shift because we have shifted, and allowing our reality to change when we attune the field together. This is why the ground teams are so important. This is why the gatherings are coming forward. It's the recognition of the soul to soul codes that need to come forward at this time. It is the reweaving of all of the tribes. That's why many of you walk different parts of the land to retrieve those codes in order to bring unity back. It is through unity that the earth goes forward. It is through unity that the galactic races go forward into the greatest aspect that we are stepping into. Thanking all of you for your service and your journey at this time. We're going to anchor back into our individual pillars, knowing that we are able to come and gather every 2 weeks on the new moon and full moon to strengthen our field, to expand the codes, and to take a step forward as a group. When you are ready, we're going to feel our feet connected to Gaia, anchoring down into our individual places and spaces, thanking Gaia for being here, giving gratitude for our human selves, our human vessels. When you're ready, wiggle your toes a little bit, wiggle your fingers, breathing deeply into yourselves. And when you are ready, choosing to come all the way back in and opening your eyes again.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, everyone. And sending much love to all of those that will be joining us through the replay, from the top of Africa to the bottom and beyond. Until next, we may meet in 2 weeks' time, and all that is still unfolding. Much love, everyone, and see you again soon.